I tried to beat Pokemon Shield with only Dark-type Pokemon under Hardcore Nuzlocke rules. Here's how it went. And hey, like the video and subscribe to the channel, or Game Freak will add more Charizard forms. Do you really want that? My first Dark-type Pokemon comes from Route 1, where I catch Nickit. In line with my nickname theme of villains, I name Nickit Swiper. Alright everyone, say it with me. Nickit is hot garbage. It sucks so much that its tail even looks like a vacuum cleaner. I nearly wiped to this Galarian Zigzagoon on Route 2, but was just able to catch it. I gave it the name Starscream, which fits so perfectly that I'm shamelessly proud of it. After slapping Hop around, I can now access the wild area where under my Nuzlocke rules, I can grab one encounter now, plus one extra encounter for each gym badge that I obtain. I stumbled around for a bit, but then this Purloin ran straight towards me, so I guess that's my encounter. Welcome to the team, Scar. After spending all of my money on clothes, this adult asks to escort me to the hotel. Yes, officer, this guy right here. I then go up against some Team Yell Grunts, but since they have the same crummy Pokemon that I do, I assert my dominance pretty quickly. I pick a fitting jersey number, and nearly lose a Pokemon to Hop due to being underleveled. That was way too close for comfort. On Route 3, I catch a Stinky Stunky before Sonia explains that Chairman Rose basically has a monopoly over every resource in the region and we're all just human cattle to be exploited for profit. Anyway, this charming old lady's Bede. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing much of Bede in this run since their team specializes in Psychic types, which are absolutely walled by Dark-type Pokemon. Bede goes down pretty quickly, so I move on to Route 4 where I catch Eevee. After shaking a stick in its face, Eevee gets so frustrated that it evolves into a Dark-type Umbreon. Swiper also evolved into a Thievul and learned the move Thief. Very fitting. With those upgrades to the team, I was ready to take on the first gym leader, Milo the Grass-type user. An Acid Spray from Stunky only does about 40% damage to Gossifleur, but it harshly reduces special defense, meaning that another one on the next turn takes it down. Eldegoss is next, and we both Dynamax. I stall out 2 of the 3 Dynamax turns with Max Guard, winding down the clock until we return to normal size. Since Eldegoss's grass moves are not very effective against my Poison-type Stunky, I comfortably take its attacks. Things get very dicey as it lands a crit, leaving Stunky on only 2 HP. Regardless, one last Acid Spray finishes Eldegoss, giving me the first badge. Hop challenges me to a rematch on Route 5, but Thievul and his fresh black boots are kinda good now. It sweeps through Hop's team with a barrage of Snarls. After the battle, my team got another upgrade, with Purloin evolving into Liepard, and Zigzagoon into Linoon. My team of villains then headed onwards to Holbury, where Oleana cockblocks Rose, and I'm free to take on the second gym. The next gym uses water types, but since I've got one badge, I can grab another wild area encounter. After heading over to the Isle of Armor, I found a Morpeko in the grass that I named Two-Face. This hangry little electric mouse should give me some extra offense against the water type Pokemon of Nessa's gym. But turns out I didn't even need it. Thievul was able to max its attack with Nasty Plot, with Nessa's pet goldfish barely being able to touch me. From here, it's as simple as spamming Snarl, as Nessa's whole team is sunk before her very eyes. Swiper swipes the second badge in quick fashion. In the second Galar Mine, I tried catching a Pokemon, but Bede rudely interrupted my fishing trip, so I had Swiper quickly remind him who his daddy is. That's right, walk away. Back to fishing, and I was able to reel in the cruelest of cruel, King of Darkness, Corphish. It doesn't gain a dark typing until it evolves, so Corphish will be set to a slow boil in the PC for now. The Motorstoke outskirts give me yet another encounter, adding Vicious the Pawniard to the roster. Back in Motorstoke, Marnie ambushes me in the hotel lobby. She's my real rival for this run, as she uses Dark-type Pokemon too. This battle is actually very threatening, as 2 of her Pokemon have Fighting-type attacks which can rip my team apart. To manage this, I lead with the tanky Umbreon and use Charm to lower Croagunk's attack. Once it's at -6, I switch to Sand Attack, now lowering Croagunk's accuracy. Once I'm in crit range from Venoshock, I switch into Liepard to continue firing off Sand Attacks. Now I can counterattack, sending Thievul in and maxing its special attack with Nasty Plot. From here, Thievul is able to sweep, with a string of Swifts picking up 3 KOs in 3 turns. You're a third-rate trainer with a fourth-rate Dark team, get out of my sight. Kabu's Fire-type gym is always a threat as he's got some deadly Pokemon. For this fight, I wanted an extra team member, so headed down to the Isle of Armor and fished up a Carvana. There was a small chance to find an illegally underleveled Sharpedo, but I wasn't so lucky. But with that, I was ready for Kabu. His Ninetales has the least offense on the team, so my plan is to lead with Umbreon and use Work Up to buff my attack stat. I continue doing this until Umbreon's HP is just outside crit range. At the last second, I baton pass, which lets me switch into Carvana while passing my stat changes too. This means I get to keep the +5 attack that I set up with Umbreon. Ninetales tries to burn me, and this would be a disaster since it would lower my physical damage. But I planned for this and had Carvana holding a Roast Berry. Agility raises my speed, meaning I'm now faster than Carbu's team. With this carefully crafted setup, Carvana is ready to hunt its prey with a string of liquidations, picking up KOs on Ninetales and Arcanine. Center Scorch is last, but it can't keep up with Carvana as I rip it to pieces. That's right, Carbu, you just lost to a baby shark. With that badge, I can get another encounter from the Isle of Armor. So I head over to Challenge Road where I'm swooped by a Mandibuzz. It usually evolves at level 54, so getting one in the 20s is very beneficial. This thing is a behemoth, so I sub it into the team for Liepard. A trip through the wild area brings me to Hammerlock, where Raihan shows me the chamber that they keep Sonia locked up in. Route 6 gives me some upgrades to my team, but then...
Tactical nuke incoming!
Oh, Hop's back. And he's gone. The Ghost Gym is up next, but I'm not spooked at all. My Linoon evolved into Obstagoon, and this guy is the perfect counter for Ghost types. Offensively, its Dark type attacks are super effective against Ghosts, and defensively, its normal typing grants it an immunity to Ghost attacks. Not a bad combo. Alistair opens up with Yunmask, but a single Night Slash from Obstagoon takes it down. Mimikyu doesn't put up much of a fight either, but it does land 2 Baby Doll Eyes to lower my attack. It goes down pretty quickly, but against Cursula, I switch into Umbreon to reset my stat changes. This dying piece of coral isn't much of a threat for Umbreon's bulk, so after 2 workups, I baton pass back into Obstagoon, who takes it down with Night Slash. Last is Gengar, and after we both Dynamax, a Max Ooze does reasonable damage, but Obstagoon lives it comfortably, and 1 boosted Max Darkness picks up the KO and a pretty easy 4th badge. Bede's back for more, but I mean, come on. Come on. After rubbing some glowing mushrooms in the Glimwood Tangle, I was able to catch Impidimp, who I named the Green Goblin. I know it isn't green, but it fits the theme alright, so just roll with it. Bologna presents yet another gym. Marnie stops me in my tracks, but I beat her so badly last time that she's afraid to battle me. Wise choice. This gym uses Fairy-type Pokemon, so I subbed Stunky back in, who evolved into an even bigger Stinker. While battling the gym trainers, I ended up in a really awkward spot against this Gardevoir. Skuntank was too weak to fight, and the Dazzling Gleam was ripping me apart. I had to risk a crit with Thievul, but managed to land 2 Snarls to lower Gardevoir's special attack. Sharpedo finished the fight from there, but that was a sign that I couldn't mess around in this gym. Dark types definitely have a poor matchup against fairies, so I would need a solid plan for Opal. Fortunately, her wheezing is about as useful as it is goofy looking. Its attacks are hot garbage, so Umbreon can buff its offense with Workup. What's more, Opal's quiz throughout the battle gives me extra stat buffs on top. I can quickly max my offense before baton passing into Skuntank. From here, a Venoshock obliterates Wheezing and the Togekiss that follows. Mawile is immune to poison with its steel typing, but a Flamethrower gets around this very quickly. Opal's giant wedding cake is devoured by 2 Venoshocks, giving me an easy win against one of my poorer type matchups. My god, Opal's Wheezing sucks. Back in Hammerlock, Opal mistakes Bede for an old woman and recruits him into her gang. I assume they just play bingo, go on cruises, and yell at clouds. Much like an unwelcomed house guest, Hop just won't go away, so I quickly remind him that the champion gene didn't make it past Leon. The next few routes let me add Inkay and Sneasel to the roster before making it to the snowy Circhester City. This is no longer my Nuzlocke, this is our Nuzlocke, comrade. Sometimes the only thing to do in the cold weather is to have an ice cream. No, that's probably one of the last things I want to do in cold weather. The townspeople are weird, so let's just take on the gym. Melanie's Ice-type team has some huge threats. First is Frostmoth, who I have to take down quickly, otherwise it can do big damage with Bug Buzz. I've given Skuntank an Expert Belt, the boost from which guarantees that Frostmoth will go down to 1 Flamethrower. Darmanitan is up next, and I need to be careful not to activate its Zen mode ability. To do this, I immediately use Toxic to badly poison it, but an Icicle Crash brings me to below half HP. From here, my best option is to stall, so after a Protect from Skuntank, I switch into Umbreon. I'm confident that Darmanitan will taunt Umbreon, so I continue to pivot my team. This approach does let Darmanitan go into Zen mode though, which gives it some insane stats. But by carefully playing the AI like a fiddle, I successfully stall out the last few turns of Toxic to pick up a crucial KO. Ice-Q is much less threatening. A pivot into Malamar is safe before a superpower breaks Ice-Q's Ice Face ability. My Malamar has the contrary ability, which reverses stat changes. This means that a move like Superpower, which would normally lower Malamar's attack and defense, actually raises these stats. It's a deadly combo, as 2 superpowers finish Ice Q while buffing my offense. Last is Lapras, and my main goal is to stall out the Dynamax with a few max guards. Once those 3 turns are over, I fall just short of finishing Lapras, and it puts me to sleep with Sing. But at this range, one switch into Sharpedo and a few crunches later gives me the 6th badge. That was very scrappy. I slap Hop with one hand, followed by Marnie with the other. This gives me access to the town of Spikemouth. Charming place, a real tourist magnet with its rundown shopfronts and dodgy lighting. The head honcho running this house of horrors is Piers, who looks like he hasn't had a good sleep in, well, ever. He's the 7th gym leader and a fellow user of dark types. I wish this was going to be close, but, well, you'll see. His Scrafty intimidates my Malamar, but you just activated my Trap Guard. Malamar's contrary ability reverses this, so thanks for the attack boost. After a fake out on turn 1, a superpower on turn 2 picks up the KO. Piers then sends in his own Malamar and it's a squid showdown. But since I've already got some momentum built up with 2 attack boosts, my Malamar can take his down with 2 more superpowers. At this point, Malamar's stats are through the roof like some sort of final boss colossal squid. The superpowers keep coming, with Obstagoon and Skuntank both going down in 1 turn each. Guess that makes me the strongest Dark-type trainer in the region. I owe it all to my imposing hat, striking fear in the hearts of my enemies. I love how all these adults are freaking out and this little kid is just here waving. There's a huge catastrophe that requires some research, study, and exploration, which sounds like a lot of fun. I can't wait, let's do it. Guys, I'm told to just focus on the gym challenge, which is a backhanded way of saying stay in your lane, idiot. The final gym is no joke, so I decided to upgrade my team a little. After some preparation though, I was ready for Raihan. This battle is treacherous. Raihan has bulky Pokemon with great offensive coverage against my team, and double battles always carry some extra risk. So I needed a solid plan. Turn 1 is straightforward. Grimmsnarl moves first thanks to its Prankster ability, setting up Reflect. Weavile then immediately removes Flygon with a 4 times effective Icicle Spear. Gigalith winds up a huge body press onto Weavile, which absolutely would kill it. However, the combination of Reflect and my Chople Berry means that Weavile lives to fight another day. Now I start to get a little frisky. I switch Weavile out into Crocodile and have Grimmsnarl use Swagger on my own team member. This confuses Crocodile, but its Persian Berry cures this. However, I'm still left with the +2 attack boost. A Glare from Sandaconda really complicates my plan though. On the next turn, I switch Grimmsnarl out into Mandibuzz, which allows me to safely use Earthquake on Crocodile without taking any friendly fire. Sandaconda survived thanks to Protect, but this was enough to take Gigalith down, boosting my attack even more thanks to Moxie. Raihan is down to his last 2 Pokemon and we both Dynamax. Mandibuzz is tanky enough to brush off a super effective Max Rockfall like it was nothing. After setting up a Tailwind, Crocodile lands a devastating Max Quake, finishing Duraludon in just 1 shot. Sandaconda falls in a similar fashion 2 turns later, giving me the win. That was a little scrappy, but I got to showcase some pretty cool strategies. Raihan refers to Hop as Leon's little brother, which is pretty much all that he'll ever be in this region. Sorry, kid. Sonia inherits a lab coat, which I'm sure gives her some sort of power, similar to what my hat does for me. Up on Route 10, I make sure to crush Cabby Jeffrey, as is tradition. By the way, if you want to know the lore behind why I hate Cabby Jeffrey, check out my Mono Fire video. Things were going smoothly, until Gentleman Glenn decided to ruin my day. His Darmanitan completely caught me off guard, and he got a lucky Icicle Crash flinch. I had a huge lapse in judgment, which resulted in my poor Umbreon dying to hail damage. Yep, my first death of the run, and it was to weather. That was really dumb, but alas, I pushed onwards to Wyndon. I always bring up the weather when meeting new people. Shut your damn mouth, don't even mention the weather after what I just went through. There must be at least one ninja around here. You can't just say that and leave. Come back, I need context. Anyway, this is the location for the finals of the Piston Cup. First up is a Dark-type showdown against Marnie, but I'm feeling pretty confident about this one. I lead with Choice Band Crocodile and destroy her Liepard with Earthquake. Scrafty falls instantly too, and my Moxie boosts are starting to build up. Things get a little dicey when Morpeko hits me with a 5-turn Bullet Seed, but once it goes down, Crocodile is reaching some godly levels of power and can clean up the last of Marnie's team with ease. I'm still the best Dark-type trainer, and don't you forget it. The big dog Hop is up next, and my plan was simple, but let's just say that things definitely did not go to plan. I've given Malamar the Choice Scarf and intend to spam the move Superpower to accrue a ton of boosts. This works a treat at first, with Double, Snorlax, and Pincurchin all going down rather quickly. But Corviknight just survives a hit, and this is where things go south. I'm hit with Swagger, which confuses Malamar, and with my boosts, I can't afford to hit myself in confusion, so I'm forced to switch. First, I go into Grimmsnarl, who sets up Light Screen and Reflect before switching into Mandibuzz, who finishes Corviknight off with a few plucks. Last is Inteleon, and we both Dynamax. Mandibuzz has some insane bulk, so I manage to live through these turns easily while doing some big damage. But then, just as Inteleon is about to fall, it lands a critical hit snipe shot which shoots poor Mandibuzz out of the sky like a clay pigeon. Malamar can polish things off on the next turn, but losing another bulky Pokemon is a huge dagger. After the battle, I had to give it a proper burial. These 4 grunts are just standing there, barely blocking the path, and Hoppy's just like, blast it all, they've assembled their unbreakable formation, it's no use. But then Piers saves the day with the power of music. I think that pretty much sums up the plot in this game. After battling a string of Macrocosmos corporate shills, I reach the summit of Rose Tower where the dominatrix Oleana is ready to inflict some pain. Part of me was hoping to sweep with Moxie Crocodile, but this didn't go to plan as Frostlass burned me on the first turn. I could still take it down with a few Earthquakes, but now the sweep was off the table. Milotic is a special attacker, so I pivot into Grimmsnarl to set up Light Screen. A switch into Choice Band Malamar is now safe, and I can finish Milotic with 2 superpowers. Salazzle does poison me before it goes down, and this leaves me in an awkward spot as my HP is low and I'm poisoned. But I know that I outspeed Oleana's last 2 Pokemon. After double checking my calcs, I know it's safe to finish Serena with superpower, and Gigantamax Garbodor with a boosted Max Darkness. In the end, I had just enough HP to scrape by. Hop says that he has Butterfree in his stomach. Dude, did you eat a Butterfree? You're a sick puppy. Bede was so tired of getting hard-walled by my dark types that he became a fairy type trainer just so he could have the type advantage over me. What a coward. I'm going to need some setup if I want to make it through these fairy types, so I lead with Liepard and begin using Charm on Mawile to nerf its attack. After bringing it to -6, I switch into Grimmsnarl and set up Reflect. But then... not like this! Bede, the absolute scumbag, had a heart of the cards moment and crit my poor Grimmsnarl. At this point, Skuntank is clear to max its special attack with a string of nasty plots, before getting revenge on Mawile with Flamethrower. Since the rest of Bede's team are weak to poison, a string of boosted Sludge Bombs can give me the win, but at what cost? Bede gets the last laugh after all. My first Gym Leader rematch of the Piston Cup is against Nessa. Her team can be deadly, but Obstagoon has some pretty cool tools to work with. Golisopod knows the move First Impression, which does big damage but can only be used on the first turn. So, on turn 1, I protect to get around this. On turn 2, a Thunder Punch knocks Golisopod below half health, sidelining it thanks to its emergency exit ability. I made sure to have Obstagoon burned before the battle, as it gives me a nice stat boost thanks to my Guts ability. Combine this with an Expert Belt, and I can remove Seeking with Thunder Punch. This combination works a treat, with Thunder Punch finishing Golisopod, Barraskewda, and Pelipper. Last is Dreadnought, but after we Dynamax, a quad-effective Max Overgrowth can instantly take it down. After Nessa has her meltdown, it's time for a rematch with Alistair. I've got the type advantage here, so I'm feeling pretty confident. If I could describe his Dusknoir lead in one word, it would be exploitable. Liepard is completely free to lower its attack with Charm, and do some chip damage with Snarl. After I switch into Crocodile, one Crunch takes it down. I'm holding the Choice Scarf, so my speed is boosted, and the Moxie attack boosts continue to pile up as Crocodile just terrorizes Alistair's team. It was all over very quickly. Raihan is the Dragon Lord, but I'll be dragging him through the mud. For this fight, I've given Crocodile the Expert Belt, so one Earthquake is enough to send Torkoal packing. Crocodile can also learn the move Dragon Claw, and this rips Goodra apart. As the Moxie boosts build up, an Earthquake buries Turtonator, and Flygon falls to a few Dragon Claws. At +4 attack, Duraludon never stood a chance as Earthquake gives me the win. If nothing else, Crocodile is an absolute demon. So it turns out that both Sonia and our mother weren't even at the stadium watching possibly the biggest moment of my life. Gee, thanks for the support, guys. In the woods, I find a rusted dinner plate to match the rusted butter knife that Hop gets. Neat. Armed with these powerful tools, it's time to stop Rose's evil deeds. Rose may be a very suave man, but that doesn't make him immune to the force of nature that is Crocodile. I've given it the Choice Band and taught it the move Firefang. If you've been following along so far, this one shouldn't be too hard to figure out. Rose's steel types are weak to fire, so I quickly remove Escavalier. Once Moxie takes hold, I pick up some serious steam and melt down rows of steel Pokemon one after another. A fitting end for a poor excuse of a villain. It's been real, Rose. I then have to face off against the big bad Eternatus, which is pretty horrifying since it just uses random moves. For this battle, I reintroduced Thievul into the team, and what do we say? Thievul is pretty bulky, so I safely tank 2 attacks from Eternatus while lowering its special attack with Snarl. Once Thievul gets low, a parting shot not only lets me switch out, but lowers Eternatus' offense while I do it. With the nerfs to Eternatus, Crocodile can suck down a Dynamax cannon like a cold drink on a summer day. With a few Dragon Claws, the big guy goes down. But wait, there's more. Eternatus returns in supersize mode. Our Pokemon can't hit it, so Hop whips out his rusted knife like he's about to square up himself. As much as I'd love to see that, the front-covered dogs absorbed our rusted artifacts, and then it's down to a 4-on-1 raid battle. I was just firing off Snarls the whole time, but honestly, Eternatus takes after me in that it just loves beating down on Hop. I was left untouched, so after a few turns, it finally went down. The game forces me to catch it, but as a sign of ultimate disrespect, I put it in a nest ball. Justice served. With that taken care of, only one battle remained. But before that, I had to catch one more Pokemon for my team, one of the OG Dark types, Tyranitar. After putting a plan together and tweaking my movesets, this was the team that I decided on. The champion Leon stood before me, and he would be the final hurdle between my Dark types and the Galar Crown. Leon's Aegislash uses King Shield on turn 1. This protects it from attacks, but not status moves. Knowing this lets me safely use Screech to harshly lower its defense. A Sacred Sword does big damage, but Thievul just hangs on. A parting shot from Thievul then lets me switch safely into Crocodile. Thievul is usually faster than Aegislash, but I had it hold a lagging tail, so parting shot will go last. This means that Crocodile doesn't have to eat an attack on the switch. Leon changes his Aegislash to defense mode and ends his turn. But on the next one, due to the earlier defense drops, an Earthquake can pick up the KO. I can't finish Seismitoad in one shot, but after tanking a Liquidation, it too goes down to Earthquake. With my Moxie boosts and Choice Scarf, Crocodile is able to outspeed and one-shot Leon's Haxorus, Cinderace, and Dragapult. Last is Charizard, and one more attack should do the job. But I made the mistake of Dynamaxing. I forgot that this negates my Choice Scarf, meaning that Charizard now outspeeds. One max Overgrowth destroys Crocodile, but god damn it, he died a hero. Thank you for your service. The Focus Sash on Sharpedo means it can eat up the last 2 turns of Dynamax, but sadly, he fell in the process. From here, Tyranitar swoops in to claim the credit and is eventually able to land a Stone Edge to pick up the final KO. With that, I'd beaten a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Shield with only Dark types. And what did we learn? Well, Moxie Crocodile is a beast. Before you go, make sure to like the video and click subscribe. It's totally free, but really does help me out. For another awesome Pokemon challenge, jump into this video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.